For those of you that are painting with digital medium but would like to get closer to a traditional medium style of painting, today I'm going to do a portrait without any sketch line. I'm going to go directly in color, and for the most of the video I'm going to use only one layer. Now I am going to use the digital tools to correct my mistakes, such as the liquify tool. It's no cheating, it's just, you know, nothing is perfect on the first go, so I'm going to use that, but everything else will be very close to traditional medium. So if you feel like you want to see how you can do it yourself, I'm going to go step by step, and I'm going to talk my way through so you can see and learn from my failures and experiences. So very important, if I start in color, the way I would do it is starting with the background. Why? Because every color, every value that I'm going to paint from there is going to be in comparison to that first value. For this, I'm also going to use just a normal hard edge brush, nothing fancy. Trying to pick up the colors as close as possible, and then I'm gonna pretty much be painting in shapes. Now, already in, I'm doing a bunch of undo, I guess. Doing a challenge without doing any undo will be next. Now, usually I start with like sketch lines, so starting with shapes like this is going to be a little bit of a challenge for me. Alright, so technically this is the base of it. I'm trying to get as close as the proportion as possible, but I don't want to be like focusing on perfectionism here. What I'm going to be establishing here, because I'm starting in color, is how to add all the different tones and values as much as possible. I'm not going to paint with lines, but I'm still going to try to place just a few kind of, you know, pale values to establish the placement of the features, such as the eyes, nose, mouth, and mustache, since that's the prompt of the day. Already 5 minutes in, and I'm already questioning myself on why am I torturing my soul with those kind of challenges. Alright, from here, technically I got the base. So proportions are wrong, colors are not quite there, I got no shadows, no value. At this point, I want to quit. But I'm going to persevere and try to see if I'm able to do it. Now there's very hard shadows here, but I don't want to place hard shadows just yet. So I'm still going to use this kind of value that I've been using to help me placing the base shadows. Using a saffron brush here to just kind of brush over the darker value. Now the head shape, I think, needs to be kind of transformed a little bit. He's got his neck almost as Alright, time to add a bunch of different hues and values on the skin tone. I know my skin is too yellow right now. I'm just going to try to see if I can paint some more pink values, kind of mix it up together. And maybe pick this color, new color, and see if I can just kind of add it where it's needed. I'm painting in shapes, so I'm thinking about the planes of the head here. I think it's just a question of like observing really. All the values are there. If I'm able to simplify those values into basic planes and basic shapes slowly, this is going to take form. Taking my time to add just the right hues that I'm seeing everywhere. It's going to pay off at the end. It's almost like, it feels like kind of a puzzle where you're trying to just solve. I'm trying to look at all the puzzle shapes and try to see where you're supposed to fit on the image. I don't want to zoom in too much too quickly. I think I'm closer to being able to add some more details to the facial features. So maybe I'll try that. I think the idea when you're painting with shapes and colors like this is to not go too dark. Like I know I see a bunch of black on the reference picture, but I don't want to paint black right away because I feel like if I do, I'll be stuck with it. So that's what I'm trying to do, like just slowly bringing the values to a darker place. something about front view. It's always hard to do manually the other eye, like in a way that is proportional. We've all been through it. If it was just a regular portrait, I would have been copying the sketch on the other side. So now I can tell that the eyes should be either bigger or closer, but I'm still focusing just on like adding all the different values, and I'm going to be playing with proportion later. Alright, at this point I'm going to start to add like maybe the darker shadows. Is going to help me to play with the proportion a little bit better. And I might have to move a few things with the liquify tool or just transform tools. Alright, I think I got a good base here, but the proportions are wrong. The colors are not exactly perfectly either. I'm going to start first by fixing the proportions with the liquify tool, and then I'll see if I can fix the colors. before, after, before, after. It's not perfect, but it's definitely better. And that's the cool thing about liquify, is once you have the value, you kind of play with it like it's basically like clay, and you just kind of sculpt it. Trying to add like just the right little differences in values and tones. This is where the magic really happens, and this is the hard part for me. I've actually been practicing that a lot in the past few days, but I started with sketches, and I thought today I would give myself an extra challenge. Why not? There's something satisfaction that I have to just kind of paint with colors and adding these little bits and bites of like different tones, like that orange here that represents most likely some sort of subsurface scattering, and how just adding just those little touch really makes a huge difference. I'm also painting with like mostly the hard edge brush, which kind of forces me to be a little bit more mindful of each strokes. Now I feel like the forehead seems to be too big. Let's see if I can either sculpt it or just kind of shrink it. The entire head or the eyes? Can't seem to know. Let's see if I can just make the eyes bigger if it changes something. Maybe that's the issue. So they seem to be like higher above the ears. I think that's slightly better. That's an improvement. Right? Maybe the nose is too big now. Too long. Not big enough. Let's see if I can do the bottom of the face. Oops, like that. Make a copy. This is slightly. Let's just go with it. Committing. All right. Next layer, I'm just going to try to maybe carve just a little bit. Like technically, if I'm looking at the eyebrow, the head should kind of connect a little bit closer. This should be darker. That connection should go all the way here. There's a little bit of a dent here. That eyebrow could be just slightly more of an angle. This is really to help like my eye practice seeing shapes. Looking at the shapes of all these shadows. And I'm not really like even close to it, I think. But it's still good practice. At this point, I know there's something crooked. I'm going to flip it, probably cry in the middle of it, and try to fix it. Alright, you know what? Maybe he has a crooked face after all. It's funny that when you flip something, you just start seeing different things, different shapes. And it's just the way to do things. Even the painters of back in the days, those that we call masters, used to use like mirrors to help them with seeing from a different perspective, a different angle, being able to flip their images like this. So it's not because we're using a digital medium that we're not doing exactly the same kind of things that they used to do. And give it another liquify, little touch. Continue by adding values here and fixing that mustache. Also the value up here on the entire side of the face should be higher. And the nose here should be higher. I feel like I'm going to use almost white here, if not white, to kind of add accents of values to make things pop. I gotta say, this is not, it doesn't feel natural necessarily to work this way, but there's something very much satisfactory to see the illustration take form as you're adding what seems to be like almost like random like brush strokes here and there. It's fun. Lips should be just a little bit bigger. Flip it back. And I think we're closer to the original. Not perfect, but definitely closer. What I'm going to do now is, I feel like I got a good feel for it. I got some good values. I think I'm just going to add a few accents with darker tones on over the eyes, and I'm going to call it done. time to add the very satisfactory moment of adding the highlights. Alright, I could definitely spend a lot more time on this, but I feel like I got what I wanted from it, which was to just have a little bit more of a feel on how to paint with directly in color and painting with shapes instead of really painting with lines. And my takeaway of it is it's definitely harder for me. I feel like having a roadmap when you have your line work really helps, but ultimately the rendering process really helped to understand all these little different hue variation that you need on a portrait, especially on skin tone, to make it feel alive. Now it's not perfect, there's a lot more that could be just tweak here, but I feel like I got a good feel for all the different kind of colors that were supposed to be there, and ultimately it was a very, very fun challenge. So hopefully you learned something from it. If you want to give it a try, I would definitely recommend the challenge.